Good morning and welcome to a regular meeting of a panel of utility commissioners and staff of the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority held today, Wednesday, July 9th, 2025 at 9 a.m. by remote teleconference. My name is Chairman Marissa Gillette and I'm joined by Vice Chairman David Arconti this morning. We have a regular calendar and a consent calendar in front of us. We'll turn first to the regular calendar on which there is one item. Docket number 220808, the application of the United Illuminating Company to amend its rate schedule. We have a supplemental decision for our consideration this morning, and we will turn to Authority Staff Attorney Russ Bellman to present the decision for the panel's consideration, please.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Gillette and Vice Chair Arconti. On August 10th, 2022, the United Illuminating Company or UI, filed an application to amend its existing rate schedules pursuant to General Statutes Section 16-19. On August 25th, 2023, the authority issued its final decision on that application. The company subsequently filed administrative appeals of the final decision with the Superior Court for the Judicial District of New Britain, the Superior Court, on September 18th, 2023, and on October 6th, 2023, raising multiple counts of alleged errors. On March 13th, 2025, the Superior Court issued a memorandum of decision on the consolidated appeals, largely affirming the authority's final decision. With respect to claims regarding the authority's cumulative 47 basis point reduction to UI's authorized return on equity, or ROE, the court found the reductions to be supported by substantial evidence in the record and within PURA's statutory authority, with the single exception of PURA's 2 basis point reduction in UI's ROE associated with UI's allocated cost of service study, or its ACOS. Concerning the 10 other authority determinations that UI claimed were in error, the court found PURA's decisions to be supported by substantial evidence in the record and all within PURA's broad regulatory discretion, with the single exception of PURA's decision regarding non-industry dues. Today's supplemental decision addresses these two discrete issues that the Superior Court remanded back to the authority for further proceedings. Regarding the 2 basis point reduction, the authority's August 2023 final decision originally concluded that an ROE reduction was warranted due to the company's failure to properly perform and to submit a current cost of service study and rate design in the rate case. A prerequisite for proper rate design is the company performing a cost or allocated cost of service study. The company possesses all of the relevant system and load data necessary to conduct such a study, including plant design, usage patterns, and demand profiles. Thus, the authority and other parties and interveners rely almost exclusively on the company to analyze this data and to produce an ACOS. The record in this case supports the finding that the ACOS study performed by the company was inadequate for the purposes of rate making. Notably, the company declined to rely on its own ACOS study when proposing revenue allocation and rate design. Instead, the company proposed a rate design based on something other than cost causation. On appeal, the Superior Court held that disagreements over rate design are technical in nature. They are not evidence of a lack of managerial expertise or prudent and efficient management. Noting that UI has a fundamental right to present relevant evidence that UI believes supports its rate application, the court held that reducing authorized ROE based explicitly on a disagreement over the adequacy of a technical analysis impinges on UI's opportunity to present its case as it sees fit. In hindsight, the authority's final decision failed to sufficiently distinguish between, on the one hand, the company's failure to perform an adequate ACOS, and on the other hand, the company's choice to base its rate design on something other than cost causation. Whether a particular rate design is just and reasonable depends on the available evidence and is subject to debate, disagreement, and myriad policy choices. As the Superior Court noted, disagreements over rate design are technical in nature. They are not evidence of a lack of managerial expertise or prudent and efficient management. The company's ability and commitment to perform an accurate and reliable ACOS, however, is another matter, and one that is more than a mere evidentiary issue. While a utility's failure to perform a viable ACOS will create an evidentiary problem for rate design, at some level of deficiency, it also implicates the utility's ability to properly serve customers and to prudently and efficiently manage its system. Regardless, because the final decision conflated the adequacy of the ACOS and the reasonableness of the company's proposed rate design in determining that an ROE reduction was warranted, the authority rescinds the 2 basis point reduction in accordance with the Superior Court's holding. As a result, the authority approves a revised total allowed revenue requirement of $385.03 million. The second issue the Superior Court remanded to the authority involves the payment of certain non-industry dues. Specifically, in its application, United Illuminating sought to include in base distribution rates $69,000 for its allocated portion of membership cost for various chambers of commerce and similar organizations. In its August 24, 2023 final decision, the authority noted that its disallowance of these dues was not intended as any reflection on the organizations and associations to which the dues would be paid, but, quote, an outcome of the authority's statutory obligation to not allow charges to be imposed on customers without a clear demonstration by the company of the tangible benefits to ratepayers of such charges, unquote. The Superior Court rejected this wording's implication that the authority found itself compelled to disallow expenses where a public service company has failed to show how the expenses at issue benefit ratepayers. The Superior Court stressed that PURA's broad regulatory authority and discretion includes the authority and discretion to allow or deny recovery of costs based on any of the statutory consideration or any combination thereof set forth in General Statutes Section 16-19E, even if the utility company fails to prove that the cost sought to be recovered satisfies any one or any combination of the statutory considerations. Accordingly, on remand, the authority reviewed the company's request for recovery of non-industry dues based on the statutory considerations enumerated in General Statutes Section 16-19E as directed by the Superior Court. Applying the statutory factors in Section 16-19E to the record in this case, the authority holds the company did not sufficiently establish the reasonableness or prudency of the $69,000 in non-industry dues to justify their inclusion in base rates. The authority staff respectfully recommend the previously provided supplemental decision for your approval.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion?
I move adoption.
Thank you, and I will second. Unless there are any comments, I will ask Mr. Bumpin to please take the roll.
Commissioner Karen, Vice Chairman Arconti,
Yes.
Chairman Gillette.
Yes. Thank you. The supplemental decision has been adopted. We will turn next to the consent calendar in which there are 15 items, and I will seek a motion, please.
Madam Chair, I move the consent calendar items 1 through 15.
Thank you, and I will second. The consent calendar has been regularly moved and seconded. Mr. Bumpin, please take the roll.
Commissioner Karen, Vice Chairman Arconti,
Yes.
Chairman Gillette.
Yes. Thank you. The consent calendar has been adopted. That brings us to the end of today's regular meeting agenda. We will adjourn. There is no regular meeting next Wednesday, so the next time we will reconvene for a regular meeting is Wednesday,